those words that are really unfamiliar that you might see when you're trying to buy supplies for a sashiko. If you're just starting, it can be confusing. So I'm going to help you know what some of those words are, so you'll recognize what you're trying to buy and what projects they're good for. And at the end, I'll tell you which of them is my favorite. So I'm starting here with Moyozashi. This is the one I use the most because I like to make sashiko into quilts, although this is a wall hanging. But it's good for anything, any kind of project that you're doing. Wall hangings, fancy pillows, anything home decor, napkins, just anything that you want to make, that you want to put some fancy little pattern on. So it's a really fun one to do. It's very common to buy. All these projects that I'm showing you today are from samplers. I do like to do samplers because I don't really like to draw very much. So the next one here is Shonai Sashiko. So Shonai is actually a region where sashiko, some sashiko comes from, and it's really a little bit blurred. That it is straight line and grid sashiko, but also a little bit different. So you might see some of the other forms. If you were to type in Shonai, you might get something that you might see were label elsewhere as hitomezashi. Next one that I'm going to look at here is Kuguri sashi or Kuguri. So this one is a little bit different because it's done first of all with straight lines across it, and then when you've done those, you go back and you weave into the stitching, and so you make this special effect here. And I really like this one, but I don't think it's very useful for things like quilts or very handled items, and that's only because I'm always concerned that these very loose threads will catch. So I tend to use this for things like lampstands, you know, things that you just don't really use for anything very much. As you can see, this one's not actually finished because I haven't really decided yet what I'm going to do with it, so it's on the decide pile. And then there's Kogin. So this is a little purse I made with Kogin. This is a very different kind of a sashiko. It's a little bit more like a cross between sashiko and cross stitch is the best way I can explain it, because it's done by counting the threads and with longer stitches. It's done on special congress fabric, which is much thicker, so it's good for bags and purses and things that are going to be a little bit stiffer. It's also very popular for making buttons, and I have made a couple of buttons there with it. And then on this very short video, I'll show you the last one, my favorite. As promised, I promised I would tell you at the end which one it was. This is hitomezashi. This is one I've made into a pillow. I love doing this. Even though it makes a pattern, it's actually done in all straight lines, so you would sew all your straight lines across, up and down and diagonally, and just depending on where you begin your stitching row, it forms different patterns. And I think it's a really good look. It can actually be used for anything. It is a bit more labor intensive than some of the other forms, so if you were going to start on a big project like a quilt, you kind of need to be forewarned that it's going to take you longer if you're going to use this kind. But it's good for lots of other projects. Just about anything Moyozashi can be used for, or Shonai, this can also be used for. It's a whole lot of fun. So if you've tried some sashiko, I would love for you to put in the comments which ones you have enjoyed doing the most. I think we all have our favorites. So enjoy your projects. Bye.